Hey everyone, and welcome to Cooking Companion TV. I'm Jenna Edwards, and this is a recipe demo of orange blossom, cardamom, and pistachio ice cream using goat milk or A2 milk and goat milk powder rather than cow milk and cow cream. The community took a poll, and this was one of 2 flavor combos that we decided to demo. So give this video a thumbs up if you like it, and let's get right to it. If this is your first ice cream experience with me, I usually make it with all goat milk since cow milk isn't friendly to me or my system, but you can use your usual milk or custard base if you have one that you're familiar with. I use a ratio of ingredients based on the cups of milk I'm using for a recipe. Sometimes I make a recipe with 2 cups, sometimes with 3 cups. Today I'm cooking with 3 cups of milk, starting with a 1/4 cup of sugar for each cup of milk. I have 3/4 of a cup of sugar in the pot. And I'll add a teaspoon of cardamom powder, or if you have whole cardamom pods, you can steep 6 to 10 pods in the custard and then strain them out later. In lieu of heavy cream, I use goat milk powder. I use a ratio of 1 tablespoon of milk powder to each cup of milk I'm using, so 3 tablespoons today. And sifting the powder into the milk helps tremendously with incorporating it fully and getting a thick, smooth custard. For 3 cups of milk, I like to use 2 eggs. And I use whole eggs. You can use just yolks if you're more comfortable with that. No more than 2 whole eggs for any recipe, because then you start to taste the egg whites. The whites are where the flavor of the egg is. So if you want to use more than 2 eggs, just use egg yolks for the additional amount needed. Here's my 3 cups of milk. And you can add in the ingredients in any order you want. And this technique strays a bit from the traditional custard technique because I'm cooking my eggs with everything else at the same time, whereas most other recipes will have you add the hot milk and cream to the whisked eggs in small amounts to temper them, so you don't cook the eggs by throwing them straight into hot liquid. But if you use very low heat to start, you can eat everything together at the same time without cooking the eggs. So I start on super low heat, super low, and whisking it all together. And every few minutes, I bump up the heat by just a notch and whisk until I no longer see strands of yolk or white in the milk and the sugar is completely dissolved. And then I know everything is completely incorporated and I should be at a medium-low heat by that point. And then it's just a matter of not letting it scald or boil. We want to pre-simmer where you see a little movement in the liquid, but not bubbles. And stirring regularly so we don't have custard sticking to the bottom of the pot. It should only take a few minutes for the custard to coat the back of a metal spoon and to stand when a finger is run through it. If your custard rushes to fill that gap, it's not thick enough yet. Now the timing, like how long it takes you to get to that point, is less important than the consistency. So if it takes more than 10 minutes for the custard to thicken, that's okay. You can't reverse overcooked custard, so take your time. As you get comfortable with the technique, you can experiment with using higher heat more quickly. Once we like the custard consistency, we'll turn off the heat and add the vanilla extract and orange blossom water. I used half a teaspoon of vanilla just to give the base some foundational flavor, and 3 tablespoons of orange blossom water. Now it cools until it registers 40 degrees Fahrenheit. That should be at least 4 hours in the fridge or overnight. I let it cool at room temp for a bit and then I store it in the fridge. For the churning demo, I'm using footage from the burnt honey recipe, so it'll look darker. I use a Kitchenaid stand mixer ice cream bowl to churn my ice cream. Although I think most machines have similar directions, that add-ins are added towards the end of churning when the ice cream is mostly thickened and almost ready. For the Kitchenaid stand mixer attachment, we know we're getting to the end of the churning when the paddle starts to catch and it makes a clicking sound. In theory, this should be around 20 minutes. See how it kind of stops like that? This is when we add in the crushed pistachios. You'll add as much pistachios as your palate likes, but I recommend 1/3 of a cup. If you used 3 cups of milk to make your custard, that's about 2 tablespoons of crushed pistachios per cup of milk you use in your base. But of course, you need to have more to sprinkle on top later. So the flavor evolves over time. My first tastes straight out of the churning bowl, it was really floral and almost soapy, and I didn't think there was enough cardamom. But after a couple of days, it settles in and it balances out. So let me know what you think. That's it for this recipe demo of orange blossom cardamom pistachio ice cream. Get the ingredient list below or at cookingcompaniontv.com/orange blossom ice cream. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it and subscribe to this channel for more demos just like this. I'm Jenna Edwards and thanks for watching.